My name is Nicholas. I'm a spiritual director and Enneagram teacher.
Hi, my name is Jackie Nunes, and I'm grateful to serve as a spiritual director.
Hi there, my name is Pat Cassidy. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm a spiritual director based here in Baltimore, Maryland.
I think that one of the best analogies I ever heard for spiritual direction was this. Imagine you're walking down a long corridor with windows to one side, light streaming through. We might be in a hurry to get to where we're going, as we often are. We want to get to the end of the corridor. But spiritual director invites us to pause every time we step into one of those pools of light. Invites us to turn and look out the window and take in whatever landscape there is to see. And so a spiritual director, in other words, invites us to a more contemplative posture towards those moments in our life when divinity is really shining through, but we might not notice it.
Spiritual direction is a place of accompaniment. It's an hour once a month with a person who is practiced in listening to the movements of the Holy Spirit. It's a place of vulnerability and courage. It's a place of encouragement. It's a conversation that's different than one would have with their friends or family because it's focused and attentive and deliberate about one's relationship with God and one's desires for a deepening relationship with God.
You know, we might not expect a dramatic, radical insight in the first session or second session or third session, but we can expect a patient and deep, attuned companionship so that the real insight doesn't come necessarily in any one session, but between sessions, we notice that our gaze is becoming a little bit more contemplative. We're able to live a little bit more in the present moment, more attuned to what's happening there.
I really see spiritual direction as an opportunity to explore one's understanding of the divine, of self, of others, of life, to really begin to share space with someone, your director, to explore questions. And spiritual directors really provide a space and accompaniment to explore those questions. So by asking ways to help clarify, to help deepen, to help inspire that exploration and that understanding. And I found that to be really helpful within my own experience of spiritual direction, and that my directors would ask me questions that maybe I wasn't thinking of, wasn't coming to me in prayer or in writing, or they were questions that maybe I was avoiding or creating distance between. So having that accountability was helpful for me and continues to be helpful for me, and something that I know that's helpful for the directees that I've worked with. So I think in formation as an Ignatian leader, spiritual direction can really help to ground you further in your values and in your understanding of the divine, self, others, of life, so that you can operate more fully from that place as a leader and be informed in your actions and your decisions and your ways forward and your perspectives of life and of the world. So spiritual direction really offers that space of exploration, that space of accountability, that space of care, and that space of resourcing by providing different tools, resources to be able to deepen all of that for yourself.
We have a saying in chaplaincy that you can't journey with another person to places you haven't journeyed within yourself. So as leaders, I think the more we've journeyed within ourselves, the more wise and compassionate and human we can be with people we might be leading who are really on their own journeys. And we wouldn't necessarily want a leader who hadn't done that self-work, who hadn't invested in the inner life.
Ignatian spirituality encourages us to love boldly and openly in the world, and spiritual direction helps us to be attentive to that love of God, to receive it, and then refine and discern how we extend that compassion of God into the world. spiritual direction for me is essential to living an Ignatian life, one of deep attentiveness and one of deep generosity.
Having the opportunity to take part in spiritual direction is an important one, and one to certainly try out, and to find a director that's really going to align with what it is that you're looking for. So it's about finding that balance between someone who can challenge you and someone who can care for you. So it's important to think about how your identities may come into play with that. As a queer, white, cisgender man myself, that was really important as I was exploring parts of myself and how different parts of my identities came into relationship with my understanding of God and my relationship with God. So through that process, I was able to identify ways that I was socialized or raised to understand the divine that weren't serving me and truly weren't based in truth. And my director helped me to let go of those pieces and to begin to build, foster, cultivate the truth of the divine in ways that helped me to better understand, to better accept, love, and celebrate the fullness of who I am and the fullness of who others are in this world. So I urge you to explore it. I urge you to try it and to see what it might offer you in your life, in your relationship with divine and others, and certainly in your work.